I have taken the plastic indicator off of this. I've made maybe 6 bowls with this, and of course now it's become winter time. Everything's drying out down here, and as you can see, I've had to add masking tape to make the faceplate fit snug on here. And if we take this out of here, also notice I put masking tape around this because this is shrunk. It isn't old enough that it could have worn that much. So it has to be that this piece of walnut is shrinking. So it works quite well, but I believe it can be improved upon. So what I intend to do is to try to incorporate this Lazy Susan bearing into something that I can use instead of that. Plus I'm going to blow it out to approximately 12 inches. This is 8, and I noticed the last bowl that I made was about 14 inches in diameter, and these graduations just are not quite tight enough. The width of this line makes a difference in where you place the segment, just the width of a line. So we're going to blow this out to approximately 12 inches, and we're going to hold the bowl. We're going to try to use this. Another wood turner that writes to me every now and then told me about this item, so I bought one, and that's what's going to hold the faceplate on. So we're going to work that out, and I'll show you as we go along. What I've done, I took a 13-inch square piece of MDF and I attached the Lazy Susan ring to it. Now we'll flip it over. You see it rotates very nice. Now what we have to do is find the center as this rotates, so that we can draw our line out and figure out where we have to cut this off to make it 12 inches. I cut the piece out round on the bandsaw, a little oversized. Then I put it with double stick tape. I stuck it fast to this piece of MDF in the lathe, and I turned it perfectly around. I screwed it on from the bottom in 6 places. And now I have my rotating wheel. This is dead in the center. So now what I have to do is bore a hole in here, 5/8 I believe, the diameter of the shaft, and stick that down through here. Okay, I reprinted this on 8.5 by 14 paper, and while I was at it I went to 48 segments, just in case I decide I want to do that. So next we'll find this dead center, locate it on the wheel, and glue it fast. Now I sprayed the MDF with Krylon spray adhesive. I had cross blue line in the center. I know where the center is, and I stuck this fast. Now after this dries, we'll trim this excess off. I needed the excess right now to hold the 2 halves together. So once that glue dries, we'll trim the excess off, and we'll try mounting it to a base. Now before I seal this underneath clear tape, I want to put a colored mark on every other one for when I'm doing 24 segments to a row. It'll indicate I have to skip every other one. So I'll do that next. Now what I've done is I've taken that faceplate adapter with the long shaft, took it to the machine shop, had the bottom cut off, had it drilled out and tapped, and this is the bolt that goes in there, 5/8 of an inch. So now what we'll do is we'll drill a 5/8 inch hole dead in the center of this Lazy Susan. which was actually Grant's idea. The guy, the gentleman that writes to me, he put his on a Lazy Susan, and a much better idea than what I had. So we're going to drill that hole, and we're going to insert this faceplate adapter, and then we'll mount this all to a piece of MDF. Now what I've done is I drilled that hole in the center, 5/8 of an inch, covered this with clear tape, stuck my bolt up through, put the faceplate adapter on. Now all we have to do is mount this to something. Now what I've done, the same base that I had before, but I moved that nut into there, a T-nut. This is where it used to be. And I replaced this piece of aluminum with this piece of aluminum. It's a little longer and it's thinner. This is a 1/16 of an inch thick, or an 1/8 of an inch thick. And this new one is only a 1/16 of an inch thick, so it fits between the pieces on the first row or two better. So next I will mount this back on here, and then we'll put the Lazy Susan on here and line it up. Okay, I have it all together. New rod, centered on the faceplate, Lazy Susan wheel, and my indicator. The only thing I have to add is a way to hold this, because this moves very easily. I'll have to add something here so that once I set it, I'll have to add it, but I'll show that with the next bowl. I have a walnut base glued to a waste block, and we're going to attempt to create a small bowl, maybe 8 inches in diameter and 3.5 inches high, with 48 pieces to a ring. So I'll show you as we move along. There's the pieces for the first row: 48, 40 walnut, 8 maple. At the widest end they are 0.238, less than 1/4 of an inch. Ring 1 has been put on, and the inspector says it's okay. So we'll leave that dry, sand it off, and start with the second ring. 2 rows glued on. There's the pieces for the third row, lined up in the order in which they go on the ring. There's the first 9 rows. All that's left is to create the solid row for the top. And you see it looks a little differently on the inside. So I'll get out the 48 piece sled and we'll make a solid ring for the top. As you can see, the top row I made a little thicker, and the reason for that is so I don't have such a hard time keeping a gum band on it while I put it together. So now we'll glue this together, sand it off, and we're ready to add it to the top of the bowl. The top ring's been added and it's put in the clamp. So we'll leave that dry overnight. Tomorrow we can turn it. Okay, the bowl's in the lathe, ready to turn. There's the rough turn bowl. Now I'll turn some of this down so I don't lose a finger getting in there to sand. And we'll sand it and put some sanding sealer on it. The bowl has 3 coats of sanding sealer and 3 coats of wipe-on polyurethane. I've cut this down very small. We'll finish it off with a handsaw, put it in the coal jaws, and finish the bottom. And here is the finished bowl. 481 pieces. 48 pieces to a row, 10 rows plus 1 for the base. Signed. And come out quite easy with the new 12-inch wheel. Alignment is very accurate. So once again, I'd like to thank you for watching.